watching Fox 8 News.
Within a few weeks, for the very first time, New Orleans will have a true system designed to provide 100-year storm protection. What exactly does that mean? How protected are we, really? The answer might surprise you.
There's a 99% chance in any 1 year that there won't be a storm.
Tulane statistics expert Hank Ashbaugh runs the numbers. Just how good is 100-year storm protection?
Or a 55% chance of one or more storms in the child's lifetime.
Yep, you heard right. A child born today, living 80 years, would have a better than 50-50 chance of experiencing a Betsy-type event in his or her lifetime.
100-year is not really good enough for people.
Engineer H.J. Bosworth is the research director for levees.org.
It's probably good enough for crops. It's probably good enough for things that you can go ahead and rebuild cheaply.
Even the Corps won't use the term hurricane protection.
It is a risk reduction system.
Colonel Greg Gunter points to what's happening now with Mississippi River gauges running at historic highs. A battle of engineering versus nature.
This is an example of not knowing what Mother Nature is going to throw at you.
Just as they're managing the river system with spillway openings, Gunter says the Corps would close the new massive floodgates and turn on pumps. But the Corps insists people play a role in their own protection, from elevating houses to heeding calls to evacuate in the future.
So if Congress is committed to protecting this port city, then we'll have it done.
Levees.org argues the Dutch managed 10,000-year protection. Easier for them to achieve. The North Sea is not the Gulf of Mexico. But Bosworth argues some of the obstacles we face have less to do with engineering than politics.
Congress uses Corps as their favorite development company, but yet there's no proactive water management entity that the United States government has.
Levees.org is pushing for some kind of new agency to help set the nation's priorities for managing water, including flood control. In the meantime, a numbers guy like Hank Ashbaugh can put the remaining risk into perspective. You deal in statistics.
I deal in statistics.
And hard and fast statistics. You wouldn't call that protection. You'd call that risk reduction.
I call that threat that you have to protect against.
One thing to remember is the odds get worse as time goes on. Levees sink, there is subsidence, wetlands wash away, and during the course of our work on this over the last few months, there was one striking example I thought I'd show. This is the Pasalutra Lighthouse, circa 1935, which is roughly when they decommissioned it, a U.S. Coast Guard picture. And here it is today. That's a quarter of a mile from the nearest land, basically at the mouth of the river. Notice in the distance the BP boats. And then we'll bring up kind of a side-by-side there. Look at that. The lighthouse on the left, even pre-Katrina, was still inland. The buildings were gone. But that shows you, kind of dramatizes to me, where we are there. They put that out there on land, on terra firma, because they thought it could hold, and it's just one of the little tiny feature, little example of what we have as this obstacle. It's frightening.
Yeah. You said that the 100-year protection, actually, it's only certified to 2045-ish, around there or something.
Something like that, right. So, yeah, although you could come back and raise some levees and do some other features. And most of these structures here, the Great Wall, for example, could theoretically be raised if somebody ever wanted to do so in the future. But it's going to take some maintenance, sure.